Welcome to the STLK in the UTA Jazz podcast. I'm Conjo. This is Paul. As y'all can hear in my excitement, we're back.
It's been a long time.
I mean, it's been a minute, and we could not be more back, and we have an insane episode today.
5,000 days since our last... No, that's not the right number.
It is not the right number. 5,801 days since the Utah Jazz last triple-double. It was Carlos Boozer back in 2008 versus the Seattle Supersonics, a team that hasn't existed in a long time.
Yeah, a long time. And the other fun part is that it happened to like the most Jazz man possible.
That's the thing. If there was one person to deserve this triple-double, it was Jordan Clarkson.
Yes, like anyone can say anything like, oh, Kelly almost had it. I don't care. Give it to Jordan. I'm glad Jordan was the one that broke the curse.
The longest tenured Jazz player by far, honestly.
Yeah.
Like by far. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's just talk about that moment. My favorite is like, you know, everybody else is aware of it. This isn't like a stat that goes under the water and disappears like most ESPN stats that you don't even know really. Like we've talked about many times. This has been in the works for legit 15 years.
Yeah.
What a way to start the new year.
Yeah, that's really exciting for him. Like man, 2024 is going to be good.
Not only the Jazz's first triple-double since 2008, but JC's first triple-double of his career.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
That's sweet.
And everyone saw it, and if you haven't, it's pretty special. But him and Will Hardy, when the game was basically over, like 8 minutes left, Jazz are up by a lot. He's like, get this triple-double so I can sit you down. Like, go get this last rebound. And it took another like 5 minutes. Like, it wasn't easy. It didn't come easy.
Because he got to 11 assists and had 8 rebounds.
Yeah,
so he needed 2 more.
He was there pretty quick, like beginning of the fourth almost.
Yeah.
And then obviously it did happen. But there was a few moments where I'm like, I don't know if this is going to... Like, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to lose my mind.
But it would have been the most Jazz thing ever for it not to happen.
Yeah, or it would have been a really Jazz thing to get the 10th rebound, but then take away one from earlier in the game the next day.
Something like that would have happened. It was, I mean, where were you when it happened?
Sitting on my couch. Yeah.
Were you watching it on the TV?
I was watching it on my phone, and then I had Princess and the Frog going on the TV. Hey. Why would you have a 75-inch TV, 65, to watch sports on when you can watch Disney? But yeah, I was watching on my phone, and I lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean, cool. I was in Seattle at the time.
Yeah.
And... like I'm with a bunch of family, so no one else is watching the Jazz. No. So I'm just sitting on the couch watching it, and I like go crazy, and everyone was confused.
Like they've been up by 20 for 30 minutes,
and I'm just going nuts on my phone. And it was the best moment. The crowd erupts. Yeah. I love that the team, you know, like you said with Will Hardy, everyone's aware of it.
Dude, everybody knows it. Like,
luckily, we were destroying the Mavs.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't a close game, and we're like just hunting for this rebound. Just hunting for a rebound
because they probably would have looked a little bit different.
It would have. So the Hawks since 2008, since the Carlos Boozer triple double, they're 29th in the league, second to last in triple doubles in that span.
And they've had 10.
10.
Every single team has had at least 10 triple doubles since then.
And the Jazz have had zero.
I mean, OKC has like 160.
Yeah, you can imagine, right?
You're like, okay, like that's crazy.
I saw this tweet, and it was from someone in the arena. But I guess when it happened, Luka was like asking his coaches, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And like someone had explained to him why it was a big deal, and he's like, "I do this every week." Like,
it's just. I mean, Luka did it in a half the last time we played the Jazz.
Exactly.
So to him, this is just second nature. It's like, what's everyone buzzing about? I wish I was there. It was electric. Like that literally was the most electric thing ever. Jumps up, grabs the ball, immediately takes a timeout.
Yeah.
Keontae comes and gives him the biggest hug. Like everyone's just tackling him. Like that is the Jazz team we know and love. It is fun to watch Utah Jazz basketball right now.
8-3 in their last 11, I believe.
That's special.
We come off a 127-90 win. So we played the Mavericks when we played them on the first. We played them 27 days prior and lost by exactly 50.
Yeah.
Since then, this Jazz team has turned around, man.
I mean, like really turned around. We are 2 games out of the play-in tournament.
Which is, I don't know our goal for this year. I don't know if it's to make the play-in. I'll tell you what, though. Like, our goal is not to end where we are. Because if the season ended right now, we have the 11th pick, which means it would go to OKC. Because it's top 10 protected, and we'd also miss the play-in. So like this, where we are right now, is the worst spot to be in. I don't know if the Jazz are buyers or sellers at the deadline. I don't know if what we're doing is sustainable. I think it is, diving into a few of the stats, and I can jump into those. But it's fun right now. That's all I care about.
I mean, what has been the difference maker in your opinion?
Walker Kessler's back, like officially.
He's not in a slump.
No,
he's doing his thing.
And this is a stat I saw on Twitter, and I apologize for not giving whoever said this credit. I copy and pasted it, and I was like, I don't remember who said this. But his last 10 games, opponents are shooting 20% worse on league average at the rim when defended by Walker Kessler. That's the best in the NBA in the last 10 games. That's even better than Rudy Gobert, which is saying something. Again, that's kind of nitpicking because the Jazz have had an easier schedule the last 10 and they've been playing well. But the last, I want to say 40 days, the Jazz are number four in the association in rim protection. And that goes back to Walker Kessler. I think that's a big deal.
Sexton's been a great key to this.
He also has, and him as a starter, I think, is one of the biggest differences.
Yeah, and also, honestly, having Keontae back.
Yeah.
Ever since he's back, we've been on a tear.
I wish he would shoot the ball better. Like every time he shoots, I'm like, it's going to go in, and then it doesn't. And I'm like,
that's the thing. I think that's just rookie-esque.
You're not worried?
No. I mean, because other teams are giving it to him. Like, they're kind of like letting him shoot.
I don't
Which
mean
is
this
concerning.
In a bad way. And I'm a huge Jazz guy, and I love Keontae. But like, I feel like their scouting reports know a little more than my hunches.
No, which is why they're doing that. Yeah. And so, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, he came into the league with not having the best. I mean, he had a good shot, but not having like the most consistent shot. And I think that's just what he's going to work on. I mean, he's a dog.
Yeah. Again, to your point, rookies do struggle when they come into the league. Typically, Trey Burke stands out to me, where it's like, we were like, oh, when's the shot going to fall? When's the shot going to fall? I ended up never falling.
And his canter.
I never worried about his shot for some reason. But you're right. I was worried about him for
other reasons.
Yeah, like a lot of reasons. I was like, I don't know if this guy was worth the third pick.
Dante Exum.
Man, who did you talk about him?
Dude, talking about early picks, like Dante Exum is ripping the league right now.
Yeah,
for Dallas.
He's doing well. Like, it's not like he's starting.
I don't know how. I watched them play the Lakers.
Out of the league.
He went like 7 for 9 from 3 like a couple games ago.
I want to check on this, but dude, Dennis Lindsay would always talk about him like, no, he's going to figure it out.
Well, I did too. I had his jersey. I got his jersey rookie year.
Really?
Yes.
You still have it?
Yes.
Wow, we might have to pull that out.
And because I was in love with them. I was like, I got the old green. Like, I was pumped.
Dude, I think me and you were at the game together when I think it was a preseason game. It might have been early in the season where he slipped and dislocated his shoulder.
Yes.
And
I do remember. It was a preseason game.
Yeah, and we were like, that's not good.
It was like the Adelaide 36ers or something.
Yes, that's what it was. And we were like, man, this is a bad game to like have him get hurt. I hope it's not like bad. He was out for the season.
I mean, one of our buddies, he got a Hood jersey. I got an Exum jersey. And I remember being like, this is the future.
Dante Exum.
And it wasn't.
Well, Rodney Hood he's special in my heart. Dante Exum, last 10 games, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover a game, and he's starting. Dude, that was a big knock of his.
He's shooting the lights out. I didn't know he could shoot.
63% from the field, 52% from 3. Granted, he's only shooting like between 2 to 4 shots a game. 52% from 3. Again, that was another thing. He always could blow by guys, but when they're 5 feet off, it's so hard to blow by someone.
Yeah, like,
this is not an issue for him anymore.
No, I mean, the Mavs got a steal that, we thought we had at one point.
Where did he come from? I know he was out of the league for a little bit.
Yeah, he just went overseas. He might have gone back to Australia.
Yeah, did anyone have rights to him, or was it just like a free agent inside?
Yeah, it was just, hey, come play.
Sure.
I don't know where or how they got in contact with him.
Probably like iMessage.
Yeah. I mean, maybe an email, LinkedIn, maybe.
I doubt he has LinkedIn yet. Probably a couple of years away from that.
So that's crazy. That's some good buzz. I mean,
the Jazz played the Pistons tonight.
Okay.
8.5 point favorites.
Better than the last time we played them. We were underdogs.
That was terrifying. I don't think we've talked since then on here.
It was terrifying.
Like the entire day, I was just like, man, like, I don't know. If we lose this game, I'm going to be in a bad place.
Yeah, like they are really bad. We talked about it on the last pod. We talked about Monty Williams.
Yeah. Why they're bad, which again, we still don't have an answer.
So this should be a good win. That will be 12-3 in the last 12 games.
Yes. And assuming we win tonight, I think we have the hardest stretch of the season coming up.
Oh, wait. Then we have like Boston, Philly.
Boston, Philly, Milwaukee. And we play Boston and Philly back-to-back nights.
Oh.
1 night of rest. go back and play Milwaukee the next night. 3 games in 4 nights, 3 of the best teams in the NBA. Obviously, the 3 best teams in the East. And then you're probably like, oh, then it like slows down a little bit.
It should get easier, right?
No. Then we come home, we rest for a day, play the Denver Nuggets on national television.
Okay.
And then it does get a little bit easier. We play the Raptors, who we've beaten before. Probably the toughest.
That's a tough stretch.
7-game stretch.
We have the toughest January schedule in the entire NBA, is what StatMuse said.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it right now. I think the easiest teams we play the Wizards and the Hornets once apiece. But yeah, as far as the January schedule goes, it looks brutal. But after this Pistons game, I think that's the hardest 4-day stretch in our season for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to kind of get grit through that a little bit, huh?
Yeah. We really will if we want to see anything. And if we don't, and here's something that's really interesting is February, I want to say 12th, around that day is the trade deadline. If this January stretch goes terrible, we should be sellers at the deadline.
Let's hear your prediction. Are we trading JC? This is a yes or a no?
Yes. Yes, and I think he's also out of town with Caitlin Horton Tucker, who has not played the last few games.
He really has.
No, just like I'm pretty sure it's like 3 DNPs in a row, which I'm like, oh, the Jazz are playing well. Who could have seen this coming? But I think both of them will be shipped out at the deadline, and barring something crazy, and the Jazz go like 12-6 in January, I think both of them are gone.
I didn't really want to talk about it. Yeah. Like it kind of like makes me like really sad. Like I don't even want to like think about it. Like,
and the worst part is that like it's best for him. I hope we trade him to a contender.
Yeah,
like I really
which is what would probably happen.
I can imagine the Jazz turning down 2 first-round picks for 1. Just to give him in a better situation, because he's done so much for us, just as a team, as a community, being a good leader.
For sure. I mean, he tweets Utah with a black heart as the A. Like
that was like,
come on.
Did he just get traded right after this game?
Like he just loves Utah, but like we're just not going to win right now, and he kind of deserves it. So it's a tough middle ground. But enough about the Jazz.
Real fast, last thing. February.
Enlighten me.
February, right? The teams we play before the deadline: Sixers, Bucks, Thunder, Suns, Warriors, Lakers, and then it's the trade deadline. So I can't imagine the Jazz doing well in that stretch. And JC's probably gone after that.
Okay.
And he's probably playing for one of the teams we play in that stretch, is my guess.
Paul is saying it's in one of those teams, so I like to hold you accountable on
Please.
that. Let's go back to this February 12th.
Let me name them off again: the Sixers, Bucks, Thunder, Suns, Warriors, Lakers.
Okay,
one of those.
Staple down. So there's a lot of great things going on in the league. I want to talk about the MVP race. Who is your top 3? For MVP right now.
Right now. Like the season's over.
The season ends right now. Who is your MVP? Who's your runner-up? And who is your third place, you could say?
SGA is my number 1.
Okay. Wow.
And I think that might be like, I don't know.
Wow.
If the season ended right now, they just had a 5-game win streak against 3 of the best 5 teams in the league. They just dominated the Celtics last night. I'm not sure if you watched that. I tweeted about it. That was really high-level basketball.
I'm just good as... you're not tweeting about Zion right now.
Yeah, well...
It's nice to see you tweeting about somebody else.
You're going to hate to hear who's number 2 on my MVP. No, but SGA dominated that game. The Celtics didn't play bad. Like, they had a really good game, and they still just couldn't pull it out. I think the Thunder are going to get to 50 wins, and if they do, SGA is number 1. As it stands right now, they're on pace for it. Number 2, that one's tough. Probably Jokic. If he's not number 1, he's number 2. And the number 3, that one's kind of a toss-up. I'm not sure. I could see Anthony Edwards making the late push, especially if the Timberwolves really pull away as far as the standings go. Jason Tatum, I don't think is going to have any conversation this year just because he's surrounded by better players. Giannis, maybe number 3. I think number 3 is kind of tough for me right now. Do you have a solid number 3?
I do. I'm going to start my number 1, who is Jokic.
Okay, fair.
And will they give him it? I don't know. Voters fatigue is 100% real.
2 in a row right now, right?
2 in a row, but then Embiid won last year.
Okay, yeah, I apologize.
And that was only because of voters fatigue.
Yes.
Jokic 100% should have won, and we know of voters fatigue because of LeBron James.
Yeah,
I mean half of his he should have 10 MVPs. Honestly.
Yeah, if not more. Like Derrick Rose averaged like 22.
He had a good year. But like that's like a normal NBA player right now.
No, seriously.
Like Westbrook and Curry were probably the only two that actually probably deserve those MVPs.
2018, was that Harden? Whatever year Harden won it, LeBron
Harden also
won it.
Yeah, for sure. But like all those other years, like from like 2010 on, like that should have been LeBron James. Even 2007,
he should
every
have
single
gone
year.
6 straight from 2008. Excuse me, after Kobe's. From 2009 to 2014, 15.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put Jokic at 1 just because I mean he literally just does his thing.
Yeah.
The other day had a triple double, 11 for 11 from the field.
That was crazy.
Just like, and nobody
Didn't
talks
miss
about
any
it.
shots.
Nobody talks about
Yeah.
it. If that was anybody else, it would be breaking news, but it literally is no news to anyone.
Can you
because
imagine if like the Aaron Fox did that?
it would literally be insane.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started if it was Steph.
Oh my goodness.
On Steph,
I love Steph.
It would be the biggest ride of social media's life.
And that's crazy because you're like on record like supporting Steph.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
I always talk so great about him. Anyways, 2 definitely Shea.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. And it has to be SGA. What he's doing is remarkable. That's the thing is like what he's doing is great. It's insane, but it's hard to, and he's doing it on a good team. It'd be one thing if they were bad, but they are second in the West and he is
But you take him off this team and they're probably
bad.
way worse.
No, really,
that's why
really
he's my
bad.
number 1. But anyway, I want to hear.
But I also think that way about Jokic.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like that's where I'm like, okay, tough.
Yeah.
Third, and I don't want to say it, but Embiid. But it like genuinely hurts me to say it because his points, he's the biggest baby ever. I hate him. I'm not kidding you.
He's playing great basketball right now.
But like, is it? Every time he dribbles, he just flails his arms and gets a free throw. He's shooting 20 free throws a game.
And I don't blame him. Okay.
Like it devalues everything when you're shooting more free throws than shots. It is the most frustrating thing ever, but he does have insane stats right now. Like literally like stupid stats.
On the season, 35 points.
Yeah, 35?
6 assists. Sorry, 34.8.
No, that's 35.
When I say,
I always round up if it's past 0.5.
Yeah, I mine is 0.7 and higher. I guess 0.8 and higher for me. So if you heard me say 5 assists and they look it up, they're like, it's 4.9. I'm like, no kidding.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm with you.
Sorry, I'm a human.
I read right
Like,
through that. I
thank
mean,
you.
I totally get it.
34.8 points. As far as rebounds go, 11.2. And he's doing this with 6 assists a game.
35 points is like a lot of points.
Again, and the only reason he's not a little bit higher right now is because when I watch him, I like physically shrivel up and I'm like,
because it just isn't the game we love.
so I watched the Raptors.
It's not the game we love.
Yeah, it's not. And I'll tell you why. So the Raptors game, I want to say it was a week ago. It was the most recent full Sixers game I watched. And he finished with fantastic stats. And up until like midway through the fourth quarter, I was like, when is he going to wake up? Like, it was almost like watching Shaq, like, or at least the reruns of the Shaq games I've seen, where I'm like, dude, you could, like, go for 60 this game. Like, the Raptors have no one can guard you, and he's walking back on defense, walking back on offense, goes to the free throw line, knocks down 4 in a row.
That's all it is.
And then it's like, you look at his stats, and he's like 11, 4, and 4 at halftime. And I'm like, I don't feel like he did anything. And it's like, I wouldn't say he's the most valuable to his team because he's capable of so much more. And it's
100%.
like hard to knock someone because they're playing really well, but could be playing better. Again, there are games where he turns it on and he's unguardable.
And he sits out when they play good teams.
Yeah,
if they're not playing the Pistons and the Wizards, he's out.
Yeah,
he's bouncing.
I don't think
he's
that's
feeling sore.
I don't think that's on purpose. Again, he did play against the Timberwolves and go for like 50 and 20.
Yeah.
Right after everyone called him out for sitting out. So I don't think that's on purpose.
So I have to throw him in there. Don't love it. Anthony Edwards is probably 4th for me because I think as well on the best team in the league, their best player has to get recognition.
It has to.
Like when Donovan was averaging like 26, 4, and 5 when we were the best team in the league, it was hard for me to not feel like he should get recognition, right?
He got what, 5th that year in MVP?
I don't even think it was that high.
Really?
And so I think like you have to put that into consideration. I think there should be a bigger like prereq for like the MVP award, like most valuable player. Like what is that? Like, is that the best player on the best team? Because that feels like the most valuable to me. Or is it like someone, if you take them off, they're horrible kind of thing? Like LeBron, Cleveland, they are the worst team in the league. I think there needs to be more like...
I wish it was clear cut.
There needs to be more of a clear cut thing because Westbrook, it was like, okay, well, he was just hunting for triple doubles, which was cool. But like, exactly.
Think he was.
No, but exactly. Yeah. I don't think so either. But I'm saying it's those kind of conversations that get brought up to me where it's like the best player on the best team in the league, that'd be a way more clear cut.
Yeah, but then you look at like the Hawks that one year in 2015.
Exactly.
Where it's like they're 63 and 11 or whatever it was, 63 and
their
19.
Best player was like Jeff Teague.
It was a mix between Jeff Teague and Al Horford.
Yeah.
And I swear hand on the Bible, if Al Horford won the MVP, I would have stopped watching the league.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone knows
it's tough. I don't think you can make it super clear cut, but I do think there can be more involved. Like now this year you have to play 60 or whatever, like something games to be all-star kind of thing. So I think
I do like that.
Yeah, I think that, something like that needs to be included, but I really like that.
Real fast, back to the Embiid thing. His last 10 games, he's played Washington twice, Chicago twice, Detroit twice, Minnesota once, Atlanta once, and Toronto. So you're right. Outside of the Timberwolves
Trash,
game,
dude.
Well, again, he's averaging 40 in the stretch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I guess against bad teams. But again, these are NBA teams.
Yep.
Like, they're not the best NBA teams, but they're NBA players. Yeah. And other than the Pistons, we've seen they can go out and win any night.
Yep.
So that's your top four. You put Edwards at 4. I put Embiid at 4 for me.
Okay.
Simply because they haven't really played anyone yet. And if this sustains through March and April, then he's probably going to win it.
Yeah.
Which is like, was Joel Embiid, if you look back, this is one way to look at MVP. Like, if you look back on the season, who was like, think of like 4 years ago, who was like the guy? And in 4 years, I don't think we're going to be talking about Embiid.
Yep, I agree.
So it's like hard to give him back-to-back MVPs, but if he deserves it right now, he deserves it. Again, I don't love it.
Then whatever.
Then what? Then we'll just forget about this year.
Yeah. Alrighty. We're wrapping this up. We're getting close. We're going to wrap a nice old Conjo's card for the Pistons game tonight.
Conjo, I have breaking news real fast.
Rip it, Paul.
The Cheesecake Factory is coming to Utah County with a new location opening soon between the Utah Valley University and the Brigham Young University campuses.
Between them.
Construction will begin immediately on the new Cheesecake Factory at the University Place Mall.
Wow.
According to the press release, the restaurant will be situated next to Dillard's and Ito Sushi. Dillard's is
on the back end.
If you're coming from the north on State Street, it's right there on the left.
That's what I thought.
I think it's going to be on that corner.
That's going to be a big spot.
Don't let my wife see this.
That's gonna be a big spot, dude.
Whew, that's pretty exciting.
I mean, because we're having to drive up to Murray.
Murray's far, and I'll tell you what,
Salt
I
Lake?
actually have a reservation there today.
No way.
On the Bible. I'll show you the Yelp reservation. Anyway, really exciting. Conjo's card, you said?
Let's rip Conjo's. I was
so excited about it.
I actually want to see the Yelp reservation put it up.
Yeah, I can do that in just a sec. Lauri Markkanen, over or under 3 3-pointers made?
Made. 3.
Yeah.
Can we move it to 2.5?
No. 4 or 2.
Oh.
Against the Detroit Pistons.
Yes. Over.
Okay.
Over.
Book it. That's rebounds. Let's go. John Collins, over or under 6 rebounds?
Dude, remember when those were 9?
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember taking the under and being very happy about it.
Yeah, you better
6 is more scary.
Yeah, 7? Come on.
I'm going to take the under.
Under 6?
Yep.
I hate it.
I know, but I'm going to.
And I'll tell you what, these apps, we're using Underdog, they inflate the over-under so much.
Yes.
Like if you look on FanDuel, it's probably 5.5. So I don't hate the under here. As a Jazz fan, I hate it. I'm like, it should be all overs.
I'm just taking it.
Colin Sexton, over or under 21.5 points and assists combined.
Under.
Really hate it. Fontecchio, over or under 3.5 rebounds?
Over.
Thank you. That one was obvious.
Yes, I like the over there.
I remember I had an over-under at 5.5 with him, and it just flying colors.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Chris Dunn, over or under 5 assists?
Under.
Really?
Keontae's playing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Chris Dunn's... Yeah, I definitely taking the under. I don't know.
All right, here's a recap. I hate that under, by the way.
It's the Pistons. You just never know.
We could get by 30 in the first quarter, and then Chris Dunn plays for the rest of the game or
none of the game. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I would love to see Bryce Sensabaugh pulled up tonight.
It's a big gamble. I am waiting for Bryce Sensabaugh.
That was really rude of me to cut you off. I cannot wait for him.
No. That's the thing is, if it was something I didn't agree with, we'd have a problem.
Yeah, like, hey, don't cut me off for a bad take.
But like, I love Bryce Sensabaugh, and you know that.
Laurie
Baby
Markkinen is hitting over three three-pointers.
Yep.
Colin Sexton, 22 points and assists combined at least.
Yep.
Fontecchio, 3.5 rebounds, over.
Yep.
John Collins, under 6 rebounds.
Yep.
Chris Dunn, under 5 assists.
Yep.
7 p.m. tip-off. Jazz are favored by 8.5 points. Jazz,
Honestly,
8.5.
we're taking it. We're
Okay.
taking the Jazz.
Taking the spread.
This is at home, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we're definitely taking
Delta
this.
Center
We're
is gonna
taking
be buzzing.
buzzing post triple double.
Yep.
Pistons suck.
Do we have a parade, by the way, for the triple double?
We should.
I wouldn't hate it.
I mean,
I'd go.
100%. I'd
Just
go.
like JC walking down the
People were
streets.
trashing it, and I'm like, dude, this is you don't know.
It was the McCade kid.
Yeah,
And here's the thing. From what I've heard, hate to call him out by name, I've heard he's a fantastic guy in person. A joy to be around. I've never met him in person. His Twitter gives off the biggest frustration to me. He just hates on everything Utah. I'm like, hey, McCade, smile a little bit.
which is what we ain't doing.
Did
here.
you see his exact tweet?
If it's the one we're talking about, then yes.
Yeah, where it's like, they're never going to win the championship. Might as well celebrate. I'm like, all right, guy. Well,
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
we might not. Let us celebrate.
Well, I mean, it's either they bag on Utah or they copy our content from the pod, which we've been seeing.
The trades have been pretty silly.
We've been seeing them. So, hey, this has been a great episode.
Yeah.
I more than happy to be back. It's been the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Hope everyone enjoyed it. So this has been, a great pod. I'm Conjo. As y'all know, this is Paul. Give it up for Paul. And this has been the STLK in the UTA Jazz podcast. We'll catch you next week. Go Jazz, baby.